A devastating fire that broke out on the outskirts of Los Angeles tested the deep connections with nature, as a woman and her brave horses rose from the flames as beacons of hope. In the early hours of the morning, thick, black smoke began rising from the outskirts of Los Angeles, quickly enveloping the town in a heavy, suffocating cloud. As the sun began to rise, casting an eerie, blood-red glow over the sky, people were just starting their daily routines. But as they began to prepare their breakfasts, the air tasted different, tinged with ash and panic. Something was terribly wrong. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more stories like this. The calm and peaceful atmosphere that had always surrounded the town was swiftly being swallowed by massive flames. The wind howling through the trees fueled the fire, causing it to spread rapidly toward the town. As the flames grew taller and more menacing, the townspeople found themselves paralyzed by fear, unsure of what to do next. Cars flooded the streets, their engines roaring in desperation as people tried to flee, but the roads were clogged with smoke and debris, blocking any clear path to safety. The fire advanced swiftly, almost as if it were a living monster, threatening to devour everything in its path. However, amidst the chaos and destruction, no one had noticed a woman and her horses in a secluded wooded area on the outskirts of town. Emily lived in a shelter deep within these woods, a place she had built from the ruins of an old abandoned property. The shelter housed many animals she had rescued over the years, each one with a story of survival, just like her own. The small community of animals and people living there had always found peace in the tranquility of nature. But today, that peace was about to be shattered. Little did the townspeople know, this shelter would soon become the lifeline that would save them. From the very first moments the fire broke out, Emily, along with her trusted horses, began helping the townspeople evacuate, risking her life to bring hope to those who had almost lost it. Every step Emily took through the smoke-filled air brought a glimmer of light to a community in despair. Although she was only one woman, her every action seemed to ripple outward, like a stone thrown into a still pond, touching the lives of many in ways they had never imagined. Her connection with her horses gave her an almost mystical strength, allowing her to do things that others would have thought impossible. Emily wasn't just a skilled rider, she was a true leader who understood the spirit of her horses. Over the years, she had formed an unbreakable bond with each one of them. They were more than just animals to her. They were her family, her partners in every challenge, and her source of unwavering support. Her relationship with them transcended words. Each horse had its own personality, its own strengths, and its own role to play in this grand adventure. Horses like Storm and Blaze were her oldest and most trusted companions. Storm was Emily's first horse. She had saved him when she was a young girl, alone and struggling to survive in the wilderness. The bond they shared was forged in adversity. Storm had been wild and unruly at first, but through patience, love, and countless hours spent together, he had grown into a loyal and powerful steed. His coat was the color of storm clouds, a silvery gray that seemed to shimmer as he moved, his eyes bright with intelligence and determination. Storm had a deep, almost spiritual connection with Emily, sensing her emotions and responding to her with a calm, steady energy that helped ground her during moments of crisis. Blaze, on the other hand, had only recently become part of Emily's life. Just before the fire started, Emily had rescued Blaze from a local animal shelter, bringing him home with the intent to train him for the challenges that might lie ahead. Blaze was a striking horse, with a fiery coat the color of freshly fallen embers, and eyes that burned with the fire of ambition. He was strong, agile, and fiercely courageous, making him the perfect companion for the task at hand. Emily had always believed in Blaze's potential, and now with the fire threatening their home, she was more grateful than ever to have him by her side. The trust that Emily had in her horses was built on years of mutual understanding and respect. Together, they had learned to communicate without words, understanding each other's needs, strengths, and limitations. Emily could tell when Storm needed reassurance and when Blaze needed to be pushed harder. They had become a well-oiled machine, working together in perfect harmony. This unspoken bond gave them the courage to face the fire head-on, knowing that together they could overcome any obstacle. As the fire began to spread rapidly, the townspeople, in a state of panic, started evacuating their homes. The roads were clogged with cars, each one trying to escape the oncoming inferno, but the thick smoke and the flames made it impossible to move forward. People were unable to save their belongings or their animals. The town was in chaos, and many felt trapped, as though the fire was slowly encircling them, closing in with no way out. Emily, however, was not one to stand idly by. She knew what had to be done. She mounted Storm and urged Blaze to follow, charging into the heart of the fire. The two horses, their hooves pounding the earth, carried Emily through the smoke and the flames. With incredible speed and strength, they reached the town and began evacuating the residents, one by one. Emily led the horses through the streets, helping people gather their belongings, transporting them to safety, and making sure that their animals were not left behind. She could hear the cries of relief from the townspeople as they saw her approach, and the sight of her and her horses gave them a sense of hope that they desperately needed. As the fire raged on, Emily and her horses worked tirelessly. They carried people who were unable to walk, transporting them to safer areas. They picked up the elderly, the sick, and the young children, bringing them to safety in the shelter Emily had built. In the midst of all the fear and destruction, the horses became symbols of hope. Their courage inspired the townspeople, reminding them that even in the darkest times, there was still a chance for survival. One woman, tears streaming down her face, said, "Blaze and Storm are our heroes. They did what no human could have done for us. They saved our lives." The horses were not just beasts of burden. They were friends, companions, and protectors. Their bravery lifted the spirits of everyone around them, and they became a source of strength for the townspeople, who had lost almost everything in the flames. The fire lasted for several days, and the damage it caused was unimaginable. Entire neighborhoods were destroyed, homes reduced to ash, and animals were lost forever. But despite the devastation, the townspeople began to rebuild their lives. Emily and her horses were at the heart of this effort, offering not only physical help but emotional support as well. They reminded the people that, no matter how much was lost, there was still hope for the future. As the town slowly recovered, the residents began to gather daily to visit Emily and her horses. The horses, once seen as tools for transportation, had become symbols of resilience and unity. They were no longer just animals. They were part of the community's heart and soul. The bond between the horses and the townspeople had deepened, and together they began to heal from the scars left by the fire. Emily's shelter, which had once been a quiet refuge for animals, became a gathering place for the townspeople, a symbol of the strength that came from working together. Children ran to see Storm and Blaze, eager to hear the stories of their bravery, while the elderly marveled at the way the horses had saved so many lives. A farmer who had lost everything in the fire said, "Storm and Blaze aren't just animals. They're the heroes who gave us a second chance at life." The town, deeply grateful for what Emily and her horses had done, decided to erect a monument in their honor. This monument would not only commemorate the bravery of Storm and Blaze, but would also stand as a testament to the power of solidarity, compassion, and the unbreakable bond between humans and animals. In the years that followed, Emily continued to develop new projects at her shelter. She established a rehabilitation center for animals injured in the fire, offering them a chance to heal and recover. She also launched training programs to promote collaboration between humans and animals, teaching people how to work with animals in times of crisis. These programs became a source of inspiration for the townspeople, who began to adopt a lifestyle that was more in tune with nature and one another. The story of Storm and Blaze became a legend, passed down from one generation to the next. It was a story not just of survival, but of how the human spirit, when connected with nature and animals, could overcome even the greatest of challenges. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more stories like this. Thanks to our valued viewers, we continue to improve every day. Please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.